Hello and welcome to the Business Spotlight interview series. I'm your host, Barrett McDonald, and I'm joined today by Corey Yantha, founder of Dispension. Corey, thank you so much for joining us today. Would you like to kick things off with telling us a little bit about who you are and where you're at in your entrepreneurial journey and what your company does?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for having me. So I'm Corey Yantha, a member of the Halifax business ecosystem here. We founded Dispension in 2017 in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and really focused on using secure automated kiosks and smart lockers to distribute age-restricted products in a secure, data-driven way.
Nice. That's awesome. So you guys we talked a little bit offline about what your products does, and it's super cool on the trajectory and the many uses that it has. And I know some of those we can't quite talk about yet, so it was a lot of fun. But Corey, would you like to tell us a few of the common misconceptions you've come across about running a business and what you do to combat them?
Yeah, sure. I think running a business seems more glamorous than it actually is. A lot of people are on social media these days, showing off the watches and the nice cars, but they don't often show the amount of work and effort that goes into running a business and getting to that point where you've got all the nice things, or you got really everything that you want. I think from an entrepreneur founder standpoint, there's a lot more days that you're wondering how you're going to make payroll and how you're going to be able to afford to take the next step with your product or with the growth of your team. And not enough people, I think, talk about the challenges that they encounter when they're running a business. I know that if I was to look back on some key decisions, 7 years ago, 6 years ago, you'd look at having a lawyer involved from early on when you're setting up the company and making sure that you pick the right partners to start the company with. So yeah, there's a lot of issues that arise as an entrepreneur, but I think everybody's striving to be successful and to be a winner. It's just there's a lot of effort and time really to get to that stage.
Yeah, absolutely. So you kind of touched on it, but if you had to start from square one again in business, what would you do differently the next time around?
Yeah, so I think early on, you don't really know what you don't know, especially being a new founder in my late 20s, not really knowing what I want to do or who I was as a professional. I thought just register a company and hire a couple people and away we go. But looking back, I think having a better legal structure in place when we started, making sure that everybody has their share certificates and the company's incorporated with the right articles, and really to make sure that you as the founder are kind of protected as the core of the company. The other lesson that I learned early on was be careful really who you enter into partnerships with. Because as much as you might get along great with them and you have the inspiring conversations and you get excited about the same things, it really comes down to execution, and some people just don't put in the same effort but expect the same amount of compensation or ownership, and so that was frustrating and a challenge for us to overcome as the company grew. But eventually, we ended up getting the right people involved, and we moved the company forward in a much more expeditious manner. So yeah, just making sure, I think the company is structured properly from the outset, and having the right people involved is important. But again, sometimes you don't know that the people aren't the right people until it's too late, and then you often have to fall back on the agreements that you may or may not have in place from the outset. So yeah, some good lessons. I'm happy to share them with people offline if anybody ever wants to learn more. But yeah, I think those are two of the major ones for me.
Absolutely. Those are some pretty big dandy ones, for sure. So what would you say have been your biggest learnings as an employer since you began in business?
The biggest learnings about an employer, and I think you learn this just as you age, is um, everybody has a unique personality, and everybody has their own lifestyle and their own household that they have to maintain. So you never really know what people are bringing to work, whether it's they've been going through some tough times with their family, or they just lost a loved one, or someone's sick. So I think what you have to realize as an employer is not everybody is dealing with the same thing, and not everyone is living your life. And you have to be empathetic and just understanding of people and some of their time commitments. And I think we're very generous here. We're understanding. We'll let people work from home. We'll let people take time off. We're not asking for a doctor's note or any kind of proof that they're not feeling well or that they're ill. But I think the big thing is that they also respect the time that we're giving them, or the leeway that we're giving them to get through their personal issue, whether it's an illness or they're just not feeling themselves, and for them not to take advantage of the workplace and really the generosity of management. So if you see a pattern that people continue to ask for work off because of X, Y, and Z answer every time, then I don't think that person's a right fit for our organization. So yeah, we try to keep a fine balance of respecting people's personal lives. I think what you realize early on as a business owner is that everybody has their own life and everybody has their own personality, and you have to manage that, and you have to navigate that in a way that's respectful and empathetic, but also you have to make sure that they understand your priorities are to continue to grow the company. And so the balance there is fine sometimes, but it's all about creating a good, fun work environment where people look forward to being involved. And then you kind of get rid of the risk that someone's taking advantage of your time.
Yeah, absolutely. So what qualities do you look for when you're looking for those employees that fit, and how do you foster that positive work environment?
Yeah, I think what we've done pretty well is identify people with skills that fit well within the team that we're building. We don't have many people that overlap. We have a lot of young, smart folks out of university. We have a few gray-haired folks who are providing the mentorship, but also the experience. We have the dynamic where it's kind of a learning environment, but it's also a teaching old dogs new tricks environment, where a lot of the younger staff that we have here are learning all kinds of new ways of doing things in school, whether it's computer programming or techniques within the hardware space. It's all about finding, I think, that balance of seniority and being rookies, I guess, in careers. It's not just about I think what you've achieved or what you've learned. It's really about where you are in your career, and I think we've been able to manage that really well. It's also about the type of work that you're doing and the type of industry you're in. So I think our company, we're focused on technology, food and beverage, some of the vice products, so cannabis, alcohol, these types of things, and it creates an interesting dynamic where people are learning a lot about compliance and regulatory standards, but we're also learning about technology and how we can improve the way that things are distributed using technology. We're also learning a lot about advertising and marketing. So if you're creating a company that is engaging and exciting and constantly doing new things or trailblazing in a way, I find you have a better commitment from staff as part of the team. Another thing too that I think is really important is hiring people who can fit within a team dynamic. I know everybody talks about how they're a team player, but a lot of people aren't. And I think finding people who have played competitive sports, for example, They understand that, you're playing for each other. You need to do better sometimes, and it's okay to fail, and it's okay to be told that you need to do better. And I think it's really about finding people with the personality that they can work hard, they can play hard, but also they understand when it's time to get a job done. And that's what's important for us, is really everybody rowing in the right direction and making sure that people are working together instead of against each other.
Yeah, absolutely. When you were touching on how you built out your team with a mix of experience and youth and energy and everything, it sounds like you're building a championship winning team like you would with it in the sports world. Because you got to have that mix of people who have done it and people who haven't, and everywhere in between. So I applaud that strategy for yourself. So what do you attribute your growth to?
Yeah, I think that the growth has really come from you know persevering as we continue to develop our product. It wasn't easy. The first products that we launched in the market, we already knew what we wanted to do differently, even though the product was was in market. So you're constantly continuing to improve your product. As your product improves, you create more opportunities for yourself to deploy that product. So we would continue to add new features. For our health vertical, for example, the first iteration was really just a smart vending machine that could authenticate someone using their internal vein pattern in their palm. Someone would walk up, they would scan their palm, they would get their prescription. But in the future, we learned about the needs really of these health departments. They wanted to be able to connect with a doctor virtually, so we built in a virtual care platform. In the US, we had an opportunity to build in a 911 feature. So someone who was using our kiosk in the middle of an urban center could actually call 911 through our machine if they were, if they were witnessing someone overdosing or someone in distress. So as our product evolved, I think the opportunity to deploy our product evolved with it, which created a lot of organic growth. We also have a lot of inbound leads. We've created a lot of media due to the polarizing nature of some of the projects that we're working on. And I guess being in the media is never a bad thing, is kind of the old saying. So we've taken a lot of that, and we're really known as one of the leaders in this space. So using technology, call them high-tech vending machines, to distribute, whether it's prescriptions, narcotics, harm reduction supplies, naloxone, cannabis, alcohol products. We've really become kind of a leader in the space based on the work that we've done and the development of our product. A couple other things I think that you'd attribute to growth is building a good team that can help execute on opportunity. And so, having the right people involved that can, that are dependable and reliable, you can guarantee that person will deliver on that specific task. That also helps a company grow. So making sure that you have a product that product market fit, a product that the market is excited about, it's looking for, but also having a team that can execute and deliver on the demand for that product is really more important, I think, than having something that people want. Is how do you get that to them, and do you have a team that can help you execute on delivering that product to the market? So yeah, I think those are some points on how we've been able to achieve growth, and we're really now getting into the exciting point for our company where we're going from startup to scale up. And so now it's even more important than ever to have a team that can execute on that growth plan, because our investors are expecting it and our customers are excited about the product that we're delivering, and they want what we have. So yeah, that's a couple points really on growth for us.
Yeah, I mean, those are some massive points, and it's good that you have such a wide net with such a specific product, because you're able to adapt it to many uses. So the stagnation of it in the future is probably not going to happen. So I applaud you for that. So with all that work going on, how do you balance your personal life with the demands of running a growing, budding business?
Yeah, I make sure to get in the office before everybody else, get a few things taken care of. We have business across the continent, so it's not about getting up at 5 a.m. for us. It's really about making sure that we're productive during the day, making sure that we're continuing to move things along. But we all have personal lives. I play some sports. I like playing soccer. I'm a big golf guy. I also love cooking big meals with friends. So it's important to make sure that you're leaving time for, you know, good vibes, and you're not always stuck in this, kind of work mode. I was definitely, in my earlier years, um, stuck to the seat, whether it's morning, night, weekends, trying to move things along. But you realize as you get older, you don't have forever to be on this planet. So it's all about enjoying your life too, and making sure that you can, take pride in what you're doing and celebrate the small wins, and not always focus on, putting in 14, 16-hour days. Some days that are 14 to 16 hours, but I think, making sure that you have time to enjoy your life and enjoy friends and family is important, especially for that mental health.
Yeah, absolutely. And being purposeful, like you said, with your time, whether it's on the clock or off the clock, you need to make sure that you're doing that. So it sounds like you have a really good approach. So kind of our final question that I'm going to toss out there is for anyone watching the series at home, thinking about jumping into the world of entrepreneurship, what's a piece of advice that you have for them?
I think the biggest thing that I can say to someone getting into entrepreneurship is, don't expect it's going to happen quick. A lot of people think that they're going to make millions with an idea overnight, and it rarely happens that someone starts a company and within a few months or a few years it turns into a unicorn. So I think entrepreneurship's not for everybody. If you can put everything aside and grind it out without making much money and not getting paid much and kind of sacrificing in the early days, then maybe you'll have some good success. But I think people have to really be in it for the long run. And if you're not going to be in it for the long run, then it may not be for you because, yeah, again, it's difficult to just start a business and make money. You have to start a business, and then over time, you have to start generating revenue. But a lot of businesses, it's early investment. It's a lot of upfront, effort and sacrifice before you ever make a dollar. I think Dispension was incorporated for about 4 years before we even made our first dollar. So for those 4 years, it was a lot of eating craft dinner and Mr. Noodles and just trying to keep stretching a dollar. But yeah, now we're in a much better spot. We're more stable, but we still do have those days where you got to figure it out. And my COO will tell me figuring it out is not a strategy, but at the end of the day, I think it's a mindset, and that's really what you have to do as an entrepreneur is just keep making it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Corey, thank you so much for your time today. And for those of you watching, I look forward to seeing you on our next episode.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks.